Hey, all, Bryan VantHof here with Remax Advantage Plus, Ramsey Trusted, and the Minnesota Real Estate Team. Hope you're doing well. Today is Thursday, September 25th. It is the last Thursday of September, last Thursday of the third quarter of 2025. We are heading into the home stretch of 2025. Holiday seasons are certainly right around the corner. There's a lot of things going on. Going to be a lot of information here this week, so buckle up and we can talk about it. I'm going to piggyback a little bit about what I talked about last week. Again, as far as why this is going to be, why this right now is the best time of year to be a buyer, and it probably isn't going to get any better. If you're a buyer, you need to be looking now. If you're prepared, if you're ready to buy a home, this is certainly the time. And again, we'll go into more information as to why that is to follow. Again, building off some of the information I talked about last week. So let's start with the week that was. However, we saw of the previously owned homes within that 50-mile radius of downtown Minneapolis in Minnesota, we saw 1,040 new listings hit the market. That is down 103 from the prior week, but is 38 more than the same week last year. 165 of those did sell in the first week. That's down 5 from last week. Of our new listings, 726 are single-family homes, down 58 from the prior week. 213 are townhomes, down 45 from the prior week. 101 are condos, which is unchanged from the prior week. 279 coming soon listings out there. That's down 13 from last week, but 26 more than where we were at this time last year. Total inventory sits at 6,405. That is down 32 from last week, but 578 more than where we were at this time last year. Of our available, our total available inventory includes 4,053 single-family homes. That's down 8, median price of $475,000. That's unchanged, but the days on the market did tick up by 1 to 42 days. 1,281 are townhomes. That's down 8, median price of $300,000. That's also unchanged. Days on market did go up by 5 to 40. 1,071 are condos. That's down 16 at a median of $210,000. That's unchanged, with days on the market for condos right around 85 days, which is up 2. 731 homes went from active to pending. That's down 18. 599 went from pending to sold, down 131. And there are 1,178 closings that are still scheduled for this month. So last week of the month is always the busiest. So next week when I report, you're going to see a significant increase in the amount of homes that went from pending to sold. On the mortgage front, mortgage rates did tick up slightly from last week, less than 0.1%, but that does put fixed 30-year mortgage rates kind of between that 6.25% to 6.5% range. From 1, 3, and 6 months ago, we are down by about 0.1%. We're down by nearly a half from 9 months ago, but we're up by about a half from 1 year ago. Last year, when buyers saw mortgage rates that started with a 5, showing activity certainly increased, and we'll talk about that here in a bit as well. Showing activity over the past week did rise to slightly over 13,680 showings. That's up by about 500 total showings from last week, from the prior week. And there was a slight increase in showings per listing over the past 7 days compared to the week prior to that. Last year, showing activity was just over 14,000 showings per list. Last year, showing activity is just over 14,000, and showings per listing were higher last year as well, closer to the 3 showings per listing compared to where we are today. Mortgage rates were a big driving factor in the increase in activity last year. Mortgage rates were around 5.75% at this time last year. That drove that increased activity. I think many mortgage professionals are also anticipating that we are going to see mortgage rates that start with a 5 as we get into the spring market. So keep that in mind now as I get into a discussion on the past, current, and predicted real estate market. So that's it for the weekly stats. Let's talk more about statistics on, again, why this is the best time of year to be a buyer in the Twin Cities region. Not all over the country, but in particular the Twin Cities region. All statistics below, or all of the statistics that will follow here were taken from the Twin Cities. Were taken from Twin Cities area stats,
and again are on previously owned single-family homes only. Could be outside of the 50-mile radius, but it is on Twin Cities area, previously owned single-family homes only. I have so many of you already noting to me that you're waiting until spring to buy a house. Whether you have to do that or whether you're just wanting to do that, waiting for mortgage rates, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about that here. So it happens every year where buyers tell me, I'm going to wait till spring. I'm going to wait till spring. I'm going to wait till spring. And by doing so, many buyers are costing themselves anywhere from $12,000 to $20,000 by waiting 6 months to buy a home. So we're going to talk about why that's the case, why right now you can pretty much increase your net worth by the spring market by anywhere from 12 to 20 grand, in my opinion. So let's look at some statistics dating back to 2021 and progressing through now. First, let's look at showing activity. In March of 2021, there were 18.4 showings per listing. In October of that year, it had dropped to 8.2. In 2022, March had 15.6 showings per listing, so it had risen, it had almost doubled from the October before. But then in October, it dropped to 5.6. So it dropped by almost 2/3 from March to October in 2022. In 2023, it went from 11.3 showings per home in March to 5.3 in October of that year. In 2024, it went from 9.1 to 5.2. Kind of see the correlation here? A lot more activity per listing in March compared to the showing activity in October. This year, we were at 8.8 showings per listing in March. Showing activity dropped by over 40% or more in each of those years from March to October. Last week, I used a horse racing analogy to talk about the amount of competition buyers face in the spring compared to right now. These stats kind of lay that out, where you're likely in the spring market going to be facing significantly more, let's call it horses in the race. So right now you're seeing roughly 40% or more, 40% plus, less competition right now. Less competition gives you better odds of winning on your terms, which is now. So again, we're going to talk more about that, but again, all of these points are meant to show you how right now is the time you can increase your net worth by the spring market by very likely $12,000 to $20,000. Why is there less competition in the fall? One reason is family buyers. I did an open house this past weekend at a home, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 3-car garage, home priced under the median area income or median area. It was lower than average. It was a lower median price home, great community. It has 3 bedrooms upstairs, 1 bedroom down, a separate office, great yard, half a block to a great park with hockey rink, low traffic street, private primary bathroom. Really a home designed towards a family with kids. That's what this house was. Of the groups that showed up at the open house this past weekend, none had kids in preschool, elementary, middle, or high school. Those tend to be buyers who are shopping in the spring. That's a very large demographic of people that is not shopping in the fall. Now, if you've got homeschool or you're just renting in a school district and you just want to move to a house in that school district, or you don't mind changing school districts in the middle of a school year, great opportunity for family buyers as well. But just to take that blend of, most of those family buyers are buying late February, March, April, May. After that, it's really kind of like a 3-month buying window for families, which is kind of strange, limiting, and increases competition for you as a buyer, increases stress, and kind of increases the amount of money you have to pay for a home. So if you're a family buyer and you have some flexibility, even now might be a great time. But again, that is one reason why right now is a great time of year to be a buyer. You just have a lot less competition for for entry-level homes, other types of homes, because a lot of the other buyers are just, they're not buying. They're settled in until next spring, until the March, April timeframe. If you don't fit that demographic, talking a little bit more about that, again, the traditional family-oriented homes are, this time of year, you're going to get a much better deal than you are in the spring market just due to less competition. Going back to the showing activity, where we have almost 50% less showing activity versus higher inventory levels right now. So now let's look at price per square foot. We will use May and November statistics, as those will reflect offers written in the month or 45 days prior. In November 2021, the average price per square foot was $187. By May of 2022, the following May, that number rose to $210. It dropped to $197 in November of 2022, only to rise again to $210 in May of 2023. November 2023 was at $203 and rose to $214 per foot in May of 2024. From November last year to May this year, it went from $207 to $222. So every spring market, those average price per square foot did tend to trend upward. However, they were much more affordable in the fall. Where we're at now, we saw significant rebounds and increases in price per square foot from November of the prior year to May of the following year. Again, this goes to, why are things going to be more expensive in the spring? It's more people out there looking for homes. Yes, there's more listings as well, but there's significantly more buyers in the spring. Again, just kind of really reflective of the family demographic that's out at that primary time of year. So now let's look at percentage of original listing price received. In May of 2021, sellers received on average 104.9% of their original list price. That's spring market. Almost 105% of their original list price is what they received in the spring market. By November of 2021, that had dropped to 99.8%. It rose back again to 105% in May of 2022. It rose back again to 105% in May of 2022, but retreated to 96.7% by that November. In November of 2023, it rose, and then in May of 2024, it rose to 100.7% before dropping to 97.6% in November, and then rose back up to 101% in May of this year. So you see how that variation from spring market to fall market, how that percentage difference can really show that $12,000 to $20,000 of potential equity appreciation between now and March, April, May. All of these aren't my stats. These aren't made up. These are derived from information in the MLS. So again, do you see the pattern yet, and why I say buyers can save 3 to 5% now compared to waiting? What if you could potentially have 12 to 20K more in net worth in just 6 months? If mortgage rates drop into the 5s range as predicted in the first half of next year, the real estate market is going to explode. Home values and listing prices will increase between now and going into the spring market by over 5%, in my opinion. If we have mortgage rates in the 5s, home values between now and May will go up over 5%. That's my opinion, just due to the lower rates and the families that with school-age kids that will be flooding back to the market to buy homes. Again, note what happened last year at this time when mortgage rates hit the 5s. Showing activity increased. One other quick statistic, maybe not quick, but one other statistic. The average home price in May from 2021 to May of 2025 rose by a total of 15.3%. So we have seen increases in prices every year for the past 4 years. Let's say mortgage rates drop from where they are today in the low 6s to the mid 5s, and let's use 6.125 and 5.625 as the potential difference between today's rates and potentially rates in 6 months. The monthly payment difference on a $360,000 mortgage between the two rates is $115 a month. That's how much the payment difference is on $360,000 mortgage between 6.125 and 5.625. Let's say my prediction that home prices will be 12 to 20K higher in the spring market, and I'll even use the conservative number of $12,000 in increase, and we do get to that 5.625 number. By waiting, you have potentially sacrificed $12K in equity to save $115 a month, which would take you over 8 years to recoup that $12,000 in savings today. Let's say we get the top end of the increase in value between now and March, and it's a $20,000 value increase on the house that you buy today to the spring market, but rates do go down to 5.625. It would take you over 14 years to make up the difference in monthly payment today compared to the equity appreciation that you could potentially experience over the next 6 months if rates do trend downwards. And then ultimately you could look at refinancing as well, and you get the benefit of both worlds. You get to have the additional equity in your home plus refinance in a lower mortgage rate. That is why I am so adamant about getting out there to buy now. This is the best time of year to be a buyer, and I'm going to repeat that until I'm blue in the face every week until probably November. If you know anyone who could benefit from this insight, please forward them this email. If you think I could help them, give them my name, send the name to me, I'll give them a call. The highest inventory levels of the year, coupled with moderate mortgage rates, really put buyers in that prime spot right now. So I'd love to talk to you about your real estate goals. I don't bite. I love to see you succeed. That's why I'm here. I love helping people get to where they want to go. And I'm here to provide information. I love doing the research. So reach out anytime. Appreciate your time. Look forward to hearing from you. If I don't talk to you, have a great weekend.